Chapter 5. A Broken Seal. As the smoke cleared, the sun rose. The sky no longer carried the stench of blood, but the air was heavy with grief. People groaned in pain. Some clutched the bodies of old friends, now cold in their arms. Others searched the rubble for survivors, though there was little left to find. The once proud skyline of Stellavurn lay shattered. Its towers were jagged shards, jutting from the earth like gravestones. The wind whistled through them like a funeral dirge. King Caelux stood among the ruins. In his gauntlet, he still clutched his son's cloak. Silent, unmoving. Drazian ordered fire. The flames consumed what remained, devouring both corruption and memory. Filza perched upon a fractured tower, wings drooping. His storm-gray eyes carried centuries of grief. And Dream watched from the shadows, unsmiling, unreadable. The survivors, few, broken, ash-stained, followed their kings in silence. Too hollow for hope, too afraid to stay. Together, they turned northward, toward Aetherthorn Reach. Behind them, the land grew darker, swallowed by corruption. The road was no road at all. It was wasteland. Ash drifted like snow. The horizon never moved closer. Their boots dragged through dust that reeked of smoke and charred flesh. Horses carried the wounded, though many did not survive the ride. Every few miles, another body was laid down, cloaked in scraps, left behind without prayer. There were too many for prayer. At night, no fires were lit. The skulk horrors prowled the dark hills, so they huddled together, shivering under cloaks soaked with grief. Mothers hushed children who asked when they would go home, but no one spoke. Home was gone. Caelux no longer looked to the sky. Once he had carried the sun in his eyes. Now his gaze stayed fixed on the ground. Drazian's fire burned dim, a blaze eating itself. Filza moved slower, his wings heavy as centuries. And Dream walked at the rear, his cloak whispering in the wind. The survivors glanced back at him with quiet fear, wondering, had they traded one doom for another? On the seventh day, the spires of Aetherthorn Reach appeared. Not radiant, not welcoming. Jagged, cold, clawing at the sky like broken fingers. Its bridges shimmered with pale ward light. But instead of relief, dread deepened. For Aetherthorn was not a beacon. It was a fortress. The last fortress. The gates opened, not in welcome but in suspicion. Guards in frost iron armor watched like vultures, their spears drawn, their faces unmoving. No smile, no aid. Inside, the streets were narrow and cold. The slate beneath their feet drank away what warmth remained. From windows above, hollow eyes stared down. Children pulled back into shadows. Merchants closed their stalls. Whispers followed Caelux and Drazian like a sickness. This was not a city that believed in heroes, only survival. At the citadel's heart, the lords of Aetherthorn gathered, faces hidden in mourning colors, chains of frost steel draped from their shoulders. Their eyes were sharp, calculating. When Caelux demanded soldiers, provisions, anything to fight the corruption, silence filled the chamber. Finally, the eldest lord spoke. His voice was brittle as cracked stone. You bring ruin with you. You ask us to bleed for a darkness that devours stars. Why should Aetherthorn fall for another's war? The silence that followed was heavier than stone. The survivors bowed their heads, bracing for rejection. And then, one rose. King Virel, the Thorn-Forged. Tall, broad-shouldered, armor grown as much as forged, thorn metal curling from his pauldrons like living roots. His voice was not radiant, but grounded. We will not turn away those in need. We have little, but what we have, we will share, not because of thrones, because of loss. The survivors bowed in fragile relief. Varel moved among them, steady, gentle, placing his hand on a soldier's shoulder, kneeling beside a woman with a crying child. Calyx watched in silence. Once, he too had been that king. But Stellavurn was ash now, and his son's voice still echoed in his ears. What if Aetherthorn fell next? That night, Calyx walked among the refugees. They looked to him not with worship, not with hope, but with the question of whether he could keep them alive. His voice trembled as he knelt among them. You are not forgotten. You are still mine. Whatever comes, I will burn before I let you fall. But his hand shook, for Calyx feared not only the Skulk Walker, he feared himself. And in the shadows, Dream lingered. His mask caught the firelight, tilting with unreadable amusement or pity. Whispers spread through Aetherthorn, of Stellavurn's fall, of Calyx's grief, of Dream's return. Some called the refugees cursed, others spoke of omens. And then, one night, the whispers stopped. The sky broke. A shiver rippled across the heavens. Then came the sound, a grinding roar, like the world's bones being pried apart. The people poured into the streets, eyes wide. Above them, a vast crack split the sky. Not light, not shadow. A wound. From the fissure spilled a dull glow, pulsing like a heartbeat that did not belong. Ward lights flickered violently, bending toward it as if in fear. Filza's wings snapped open. His voice almost broke. No, that's not a crack. Drazion's fire roared. Then what is it? Filza turned, his words heavy as stone. It was a seal, a cage, bound long before your kingdoms were born, something the old kings swore the world would never see again. Black embers spilled from the wound, burning holes in the earth where they touched. The ground shook. Dream's mask tilted toward the sky, his voice calm. Zalthrakion, the world's serpent, the hunger that devours names. If that seal fails, all this, the Skulk, Stellavurn's fall, it is only prelude. The heavens rumbled. Not thunder, not wind, breath. The breath of something ancient, stirring from eternal sleep. The lords of Aetherthorn panicked in their hall. Calyx's hands were bloodied from clinging to what was already lost. Filza trembled with memories of wars older than words, and Dream only watched, waiting to see who would break first. It was Drazion. He slammed his gauntlet upon the frost iron table, fire blazing. I will not cower while the world crumbles. My people are still in Cindralith. If Stellavurn can burn, so can my home, unless I stand with them. Calyx turned on him, voice sharp with fear. You saw Stellavurn. The Skulk consumes. The sky itself breaks. You would abandon this alliance to die on your own soil? Drazion's eyes burned. Abandon? Number. I swore to defend my people. My crown was forged in flame for them, not to sit idle while horrors eat their gates. You lost your son. I will not lose all of mine. Filza tried to stop him. If you leave, the alliance fractures. That's what the Skulk wants. But Drazion only tightened his grip on his blade. Then let it want. I'd rather burn with my people than survive without them. He left the chamber. Outside, his soldiers gathered, torches burning. Soon the night was filled with fire, as the Cinder Guard rode east, their banners blazon beneath the cracked sky. Filza lowered his wings. Dream's chuckle echoed faintly, without mirth. And Calyx watched from the window, grief curdling into something darker. The ride was long, but when Dratsian crested the obsidian cliffs, his heart broke. Cindralith was already burning. The proud city of blackstone towers and flame forges was cloaked in sickly blue fire. Tendrils of skulk coiled around its spires, pulsing with void light. The forges screamed. The walls groaned, half stone, half flesh. Dratsian roared, his voice splitting the night. "Cinderguard! With me! If we fall burning." The battle that followed was not war. It was defiance. His soldiers fought like demons, blades ringing against horrors. Families joined them. Smiths swung hammers. Children hurled stones. For one night, Cindralith still stood, but dawn never came. The sky split wider. The Skulk Walker descended, its form shifting between man and nightmare. Its voice reverberated through every heart. "Another star for me. Another flame extinguished." Dratsian hurled himself at the monster, fire blazing brighter than ever. Every strike fueled by the faces of those he swore to protect. But the walker drank his flame, twisting it black. One by one, the city's cores dimmed. The fires went out. Dratsian fell to his knees, his blade broken, his armor cracked. Around him, his soldiers lay still. Through blood and ash, he whispered, "My people will never kneel." The walker tore free Cindralith's star core, a shard of eternal flame. It consumed it, and now 2 stars pulsed within its chest. Stellavurn's radiant heart, Cindralith's eternal fire, both twisted into weapons of unmaking. The sky screamed. Cindralith collapsed inward. Its towers bowed in death. No fire, no voices, only ash drifting on the wind. The world understood. The walker now held 2 of the 4 stars. Half the kingdom's light was gone, and if it claimed the rest, there would be no dawn left to hope for.